Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. This is something that I just learned like last night. Even though this officially was made 10 days ago at the time of this being recorded. The date of this being recorded is January 19th, and this is something that I just found, I found out about last night, but it was made 10 days ago on January 9th. This is, obviously political, obviously, as you can tell by the title of the video. House Republicans want to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. Yeah, you're probably thinking, wait, has a member of the cabinet ever been impeached? Yes, a member of the cabinet has been impeached. Who and when? Well, as I briefly go over some notes here real quick. It was William Belknap all the way back in 1876, and he was the Secretary of War at the time. So yeah, because in the Constitution it says that the president, vice president, and all civil officers can be removed from office through impeachment with conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. So where does Secretary Mayorkas fall under? Well, he falls under the latter, according to House Republicans. High crimes and misdemeanors. So I'm going to read you this whole entire bill, resolution I guess what you want to call it, of impeachment. It's kind of long, it's really, really wordy. I just briefly glanced over it quite a lot last night, and when I woke up. So, yeah, I'm just gonna read it word for word here. So, obviously, this is the 118th Congress, it's the first session, and here we go. House Resolution 8, impeaching Alejandro Nicholas Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, for high crimes and misdemeanors. In the House of Representatives, January 9th, 2023. Mr. Fallon submitted the following resolution, which was referred to the Committee on the Judiciary, which, by the way, that is the main House committee that has to deal with all impeachments, whether it's for a president or any other person holding a federal office. So keep that in mind. And also, on a side note of that, my own congressman, Jim Jordan, currently is in charge of that Judiciary Committee, so he really wants to go after all the shit Biden has done, so we'll see what happens with that. Alright, anyways, impeaching Alejandro Nicholas Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Resolved that Alejandro Nicholas Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the United States Senate. Articles of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and of the people of the United States of America against Alejandro Nicholas Mayorkas, Secretary of State or Secretary of Homeland Security, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for high crimes and misdemeanors. There's a total of 3 articles of impeachment. And when the House eventually votes on it, if that may or may not happen, if at least one article is approved by the House, which, more or less, since Republicans control the House, all 3 will end up getting passed, then that means that he would be impeached of all those charges. Article 1. In his conduct while Secretary of Homeland Security of the United States, Alejandro Nicolas Maracas, in violation of his constitutional oath, engaged in a pattern of conduct that is incapable with his duties as an officer of the United States as follows. Article 2 of the Constitution tasks the executive branch, which today includes the Secretary of Homeland Security, with ensuring the laws passed by Congress and signed into law by the President are faithfully executed. Specifically, the Secure Defense Act of 2006, Public Law 109-367, requires the Secretary of Homeland Security to maintain operational control over the entire international land and marine borders of the United States. The term operational control is defined as the prevention of the unfaithful law entries into the United States, including entries by terrorists, other unlawful aliens, instruments of terrorism, narcotics, and other contraband. Over 5.5 million illegal aliens have crossed our southern border under the leadership of Secretary Maracas. There have now been 20 straight months with over 150,000 illegal border crossings. Secretary Maracas has presided over a 180% increase in encounters at the southern border compared to the previous administration. In fiscal year 2022, 98 individuals on the terror screening database were apprehended at the southern border, more than during the previous 5 years combined. In total, more than 100 individuals on the TSBD, which is that database group, have been apprehended under Secretary Maracas. Under Secretary Maracas, more fentanyl has crossed the border in the last 2 months than all of fiscal year 2019 under President Trump's leadership. In fiscal year 2022, over 14,000 pounds of poisonous fentanyl was seized at the southern border. Fentanyl overdoses are the #1 cause of death for individuals ages 18 to 45 nationwide. Under Secretary Maracas, the Department of Homeland Security is also in violation of the Immigration and Nationality Act, 8 U.S.C. 1101. This act requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain inadmissible aliens arriving in the United States or aliens who are present in the United States without inspection until process. In violation of the law, Secretary Maracas implemented catch and release directives such as the notice to report process and the parole plus alternatives to detention process. Through these misguided programs, over 1 million illegal aliens have been recklessly released into the interior of the United States. Secretary Maracas has undermined the operational control of our southern border and engaged illegal immigration by doing the following. 1. Terminating contracts for additional border wall construction in contradiction of congressional appropriations. 2. Ending the migrant protection protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico, which was an indispensable tool to address the border crisis and restore integrity to the immigration system. 3. Attempting to eliminate Title 42 authority, assert a critical tool enabling the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to quickly expel illegal aliens. Secretary Maracas has violated the law, gravely endangered the national security of the United States through these actions. Wherefore, Alejandro Nicolas Maracas, by such conduct, warrants impeachment, trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit within the United States federal government. Article 2. And his conduct while Secretary of Homeland Security of the United States, Alejandro Nicolas Maracas, in violation of his constitutional oath, will fully provide prejudice, false, and misleading testimony to Congress as follows. On April 28, 2022, during a House Judiciary Committee hearing, Congressman Chip Roy of Texas asked Secretary Maracas, will you testify under oath that we have operational control at the border? Under oath, Secretary Maracas responded, yes, we do. On November 15th, during a House Homeland Security Committee hearing, Congressman Dan Bishop of North Carolina asked Secretary Maracas, do you continue to maintain that the border is secure? Under oath, Secretary Maracas responded, yes, and we are working day in and day out to enhance security, Congressman. As previously described, the term operational control is defined as the prevention of all unlawful entries into the United States, including entries by terrorists, other unlawful aliens, instruments of terrorism, narcotics, and other contraband. Section 1621 of Title 18 United States Code stipulates that anyone who willfully and contractually and contrary to such oath states or describes any material matter which he does not believe to be true, the guilty of perjury, and shall be fined or imprisoned up to 5 years or both. The record-breaking number of illegal alien encounters, including over 1 million known gotaways, as well as the record seizures of deadly fentanyl and other contraband, prove that Secretary Maracas has not ensured operational control at the southern border. Secretary Maracas clearly committed perjury on multiple occasions before Congress. Wherefore, Alejandro Nicolas Maracas, by such conduct, warrants impeachment, trial, and removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. This is the last article, by the way, guys. Article 3. In his conduct while Secretary of Homeland Security of the United States, Alejandro Nicolas Maracas knowingly slandered his own hard-working Border Patrol agents and misled the general public as follows. On September 19th, 2021, approximately 15,000 Haitian migrants had crossed the border from Mexico into the United States and were concentrated in an encampment underneath the international bridge from Mexico to the Del Rio, Texas port of entry and surrounding areas. Mounted Border Patrol agents and troopers with the Texas Department of Public Safety dispersed a large group of migrants gathered near a boat ramp located along the side of the United States of the Rio Grande River, approximately 3/10 of a mile east of the Del Rio POE. They then attempted to stop the flow of all migrants illegally crossing the river into the United States at that location. Within hours of the incident, images and videos surfaced on social media that showed multiple Border Patrol agents on horseback using their horses to keep several illegal immigrants from entering the United States after crossing the Rio Grande in Del Rio, Texas. Extremist liberal activists rushed to judgment and falsely accused the agents of whipping the illegal immigrants with their horse reins. Some went as far as to make the disgusting false equivalent to slavery. President Joe Biden publicly repeated the slanderous claims, saying, "To see people treated like they did, people being strapped, it's outrageous. I promise you, those people will pay." Vice President Kamala Harris said, "Human beings should not be treated that way, and as we all know, it has invoked images of some of the worst moments in our history where that kind of behavior has been used against the indigenous people of our country, has been used against African Americans during times of slavery." Secretary Maracus supported the Biden administration's false narrative that Border Patrol agents whipped Haitian migrants. Even after he had been alerted by subordinates, the narrative was false. On September 24th, 2021, Department of Homeland Security Secret Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs, Marcia Espana, emailed Secretary Maracus a news article that said the photographer who took the images did not see the agents whipping anyone. That same day, Secretary Maracus participated in a White House press brief conference during which he publicly and falsely slandered these agents. Secretary Maracus called the images horrifying and an example of systemic racism. A 511-page report by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection's Office of Personnel Responsibility found no evidence that Border Patrol agents involved in this incident struck, intentionally or otherwise, any migrant with their reins. Secretary Maracus slandered his own Border Patrol agents and the TX DPS troopers involved in this incident, contributing to a further decrease in already low morale among agents. Wherefore, Alejandro Nicolas Maracus, by such conduct, warrants impeachment, trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Alright, so that right there is quite literally probably the longest impeachment bill that we've had in recent years. But I just wanted to read that to you because I just recently found out last night. And I was like, that's interesting. And I look up the article, which is the actual bill, and like, oh. So yeah, that's kind of where we stand. I don't think it was introduced in the House. At least I don't think. But yeah, that just I mean, it was proposed, but it wasn't adopted yet. So it was just only introduced according to the tracker, and it hasn't even been agreed to the House yet, because now it was, written up. It has to go to the House Judiciary Committee, and then they have to agree on it by a majority, which, the Republicans control the House now. So it'll more likely pass on party lines, and then they'll more likely send it to the House. They'll vote. As long as one of those three articles has a majority, in this case at least 218 in favor, then the Secretary of Homeland Security is then impeached, which means that we'll do another impeachment video this year, which I hope it doesn't happen, because I mean, I guess it could be kind of cool, but he did lie under oath, because that is perjury. Alright, so I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. Sorry this video was a little long, but it was long for me reading it. Out to you guys. So that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video, whatever it may be. Stay classy.